Hey everybody, it's X, and welcome back to the Through the Omenpaths Early Access event. This is the Magic Arena in-universe version of the Marvel Spider Man set that is out for pre-release right now. Thanks again to Wizards of the Coast for providing me with the promotional early access token. That disclaimer out of the way. Now let's get into the draft. We start things off here with two great black removal spells. Happy to start with that here, as there's nothing all that powerful in terms of just raw power cards. There are decent two-color spells. That would be pretty fun build arounds. I do think that the unblockable double strike would probably be the most fun, but there's certainly no like powerhouse rares or bomb level cards, so I'm happy to take two removal spells in the same color. That feels like an excellent way to start things off. And I will mention, you've probably already noticed if you've watched the other videos, I will be speaking a bit more quietly, but hopefully the way that I've set up the mic lately, it should be fine. It is just past 10 p.m. now, and the walls are paper thin in my studio-ish one-bedroom apartment, so I do not normally record late at night. For that reason, pick two now. We have some good blue as well as some decent red, and those are the two allied colors to black, blue-black, black-red. We have played some black-red decks already, multiple of them actually, one sealed, one draft, so I like trying out the blue-black build. Here we get a bounce spell that could potentially draw us a card as well, just Into the Royal if you've ever played with that, great card. We also have this Flash Aura. +2/+2 at instant speed, +2 on ones with flying. Seems like pretty decent stats for the mana cost. This is a rough pack to see. I'm not a big fan of these kind of blue removal spells that turn that thing into a 1/1. The only one that's ever really been good turns it into an 0/2. Having 0 power is a pretty big deal, but still having 1 power means it could stack up into a trade and stuff. It still gets sacked for good value. Not super duper high on Galvanized Workforce, but I'm perfectly happy to have it if I end up in red. Same with Enforcers. I just don't think I take those highly. I think we just take the two strongest cards here a little speculatively for if we end up in those directions. Now we're pretty unlikely to end up in green because green is not allied to black or blue. But just on the off chance, because we're not really missing much by taking that powerful spell. Okay, we're definitely black if we get a Damning Caress here. And this is now pick 7 and 8. So we take Damning Caress and then just take one of these hybrid black spells. We're already on 3 incredible mono black removal spells. We probably don't need just like the deal 3. So I don't mind the Mob Lookout or even the Opulent Valet here. Just taking a creature there over yet another removal spell. So we wield both of the multicolored cards here, so everybody's keeping a little bit open in this pod. At this point, there's not really enough good flexible cards to not just take one of the dual color cards. I'm going to take Margot. I think the double striking unblockable card could be pretty good. And then the saddle there also just plays super well with that. So maybe having a blue-white deck at the core, just splashing black for removal could be a thing, because every black card we've taken so far is a removal spell, and removal spells are relevant at any point in the game, so if it takes a while to get the splash color and get to the black, that's fine. So like blue-white at the core, try to equip an unblockable double striker with +2/+2, that could actually be a lot of damage. So pack 2, pick 1 and 2, we've got the black-red Mayhem Reanimator rare that's very powerful. Didn't see a ton of red going late, but enough that we could do it again. The main reason I haven't been taking red, though, is I don't really want to play a third black-red deck. Probably can't justify not taking that, though. But there's also a very strong blue-black spell, so I think we're in a perfect spot to just take each of these, hedge a tiny bits. But we can also just fully commit on blue if I want to just definitely not play black-red again. But I mean, blue-black splash red would still allow us to play a new archetype and take the strongest card here. So let's take both of those. The blue-black archetype is loosely just villains and conniving and stuff. Well, here's a really good blue and black legend. We can just take those now. There's a shock. Even if we're just splashing red, that could be fine. So that's interesting too, but 3 mana, 2/2 bounce any non-land permanent. Great stuff. Mana War is already good. That's a 3 mana, 2/2 bounce a creature. And then a 5 mana, 4/4 menace. Whenever a creature you control attacks alone, so it doesn't have to be attacking to trigger this, you put a +1/+1 counter on that creature and surveil equal to the number of counters on it. So the turn you play this, attack with somebody else and immediately get value off of it. Seems great. Pack 3, pick 2. What does this do? Surveil 3. When you next cast a creature this turn, copy it, but the copy isn't legendary. Then Chapter 3, choose a card name. Whenever a creature with the chosen name deals combat damage to a player this turn, draw a card. That seems decent. It's a little bit slow. It's like a slow clone, but it gives you extra value. A clone that gives you a surveil and potentially a draw. We'll toy around with it. There's nothing else in blue or black, and I'm happy to lock in here and guarantee that we're playing a different archetype than we've done before. Again, blue and black is loosely a villain's deck, so it should be one of the best spots for the tombstone to pick up something from grave. We're only on 2 villains right now, though. I still think I'd rather speculate on it than take a second snatch back here, because the upside if we get there is really high. I do like this this creature, though. 4 mana, 3/2 during our turn. We can tutor for a aura or equipment when we play it. We have some filler equipment that we can run to make sure this is a 4 mana, 3/2 draw card, which is just a good rate. Okay. Yeah, and then we could take the aura-based removal as filler as it is, just to make sure that we trigger the bargain spinner. And it gives us a removal spell that we could grab when we need it. We're getting a lot of random white modified-based stuff here that could help justify the splash towards the blue-white build around, or alternatively the splash towards black, running blue and white at the core. That said, we open up an incredible black rare and an incredible black removal spell. We take those, completely lock in on black, and at most just splash the white here. Okay, another on-color black removal spell. Here's a 2 mana villain. We're definitely looking for more of those since we did take Tombstone, as well as some Venom's Hungers. I will take that over more white cards to splash when we have no fixing towards the white right now. And we're getting enough raw power just in blue and black, we probably won't have to splash. More great black removal, and another 2 mana villain. Perfect. Blue-white was open too. Could have been a fun spot to be, but our black rares and removal are just so good. And we did not find the fixing here, so counterspell, I suppose. Ooh, this is another tutorable aura, the Robotics Mastery. Wow, that's very good with the bargain spinner. There is a blue-white duel. I like seeing that. I don't think we'll get 2 of these, but maybe we'll be really lucky. Oh, man. That's crazy. The Oblivion Ring and another blue-white build around. Whew. We can't really splash in a double black spell like Luis. The blue-white deck looks like it is capable of oops, I win blowout curves if we're lucky. The blue-black deck is just more consistent interaction. It's just, wow, it's a good removal. I mean, if I only splash the removal, it's all a single black necessary for it. Still a 14 creature deck here. Villain count is only 3 for casting this for only 3 mana. Definitely don't need this many equipment. 1 saddle and 1 mastery is probably enough stuff to tutor, honestly. Just 1 thing for a duplicate. The hide as well. I mean, I could go blue-white and not even play the black. We have enough cards for it. But our black is so strong. But double? Unblockable double striker? Like, that just seems so sick. This tutoring out the equipment for it. This putting counters on it. We have been playing a lot of black lately. But we went like green black, red black, red black, green red is what we've done so far. All right, I'm going to take a hit in power level here to play a very different strategy this time around. We only have time for 2 more of these early access drafts anyway, so this is the second to last. Let's go for blue-white. Play our first white deck and our first blue deck. Yeah, sure. All right, a little bit of a hit in power level to do some fun nonsense with Margot. And because we're doing that nonsense, I actually do think I'm going to double up the +2/+2 equipments in here. Cut something else to have both of those. Maybe the +1/+1 tapper thing, because if the main combo we're trying to get to is putting that on a flyer or a double striker, we don't really need to tap the blockers anyway. So I'd rather just have the beefier equip. Sure. Yeah, this looks fun. It looks like a very different direction than what we've been doing. We get to play the full-on blue-white modified deck with auras, with equipment, with +1/+1 counters. So we'll see how this archetype plays out for us as we hop into the gameplay. All right, here we are on the draw for game 1. Very reasonable opener. There we go. That's very nice. Top off our curve with a great threat that draws us some cards. Come on down, Mob Lookout. Let's see what we've got coming up. I don't need the 5th land for several turns, so I will ditch it here. Aerialist. Sure, saddle. Well, we'll just play the flyer. Next turn, if there's nothing we need to interact with, we just play and equip a saddle to the flyer. This triggers off modified creatures, not specifically creatures with counters, which means that if I spend the next turn putting the saddle on the valet, I don't have to put a counter on it to draw a card. I can put that counter wherever, potentially even draw 2. Wow, yeah, that's pretty wild. I am so fine with the 0/3 dying to the +1/+1 counter trick here, soaking up a couple points of mana. This is a green-white deck from our opponent, though, so they're likely just getting web slinging. And that is what they're going to do, web sling in the 4/4. Puts a counter on the board every time they play another card. I am definitely going to deal with that, because it puts a counter on the board permanently and gives flying till end of turn every creature they play, which is very threatening. So, we can play that and get the initial 1-mana investment. For our equipment out of the way, the Cactarantula saddle, which I highly doubt is the Spider Man version. It's probably just the Spider Man suit, right? I'm gonna shroud our shroud, and then I'm gonna shroud their shroud. Because it's funnier than shrouding their creature. Oh, I don't have a shroud. I can bounce their creature here, though. You know, that does not have reach or flying right now, so I don't hate tapping out for this and then just bouncing it once it's actually relevant on blocks. Oh, there might be a 1 green mana instant that I'm not thinking of here. Is there a way to blow up the flyer? Or give something a reach? I would be very sad. But I have not seen it yet, from what I've played. Oh no. Is there really a 1-mana reach trick? Okay, no, there's not. Not a bad one. Jump somebody into the sky here. It is kind of wild. A lot of Spider-Man do not have reach. Double creature here is very good to get the aerialist counter to be modified and flying on blocks. Slash +2/+2 when they only have 1 mana up. Seems pretty good. It's not quite good enough to get in if they just double block the valet. But it's 4 power against 4 toughness, so it's kind of good for us no matter how they block. If I just attack and put it there, there's definitely other options of how to do this. Sure, I'll just send in the valet. I'll do the thing. Oh, wait, I think I know what their 1 mana spell is, in which case this is bad. There's like a 1 and a green +4/+4, but if you control a spider, it only costs 1 mana. Alright, yeah, this is not going to be good. I mean, they did make combat tricks worse recently. I'll get to kill one of these creatures even if they spend the trick, so either way I kill 2 of their cards. So actually, all in all, this is perfectly fine. Yeah, I'll just deal all the damage to this one. Because they nerfed combat tricks on blocks. Yeah, that was a 2 for 2. Mastery and Valet for Surveyor and Grow Extra Arms. And I got 2 1/1 flyers out of the deal, whereas they just fully lost both of these cards. Yeah, that was actually still favorable, I think. Oh boy. Get a 1/1 flyer every time they play a creature too? Or no, it's just a 1/1 on the ground. Oh, this is whenever it leaves the battlefield, they get a 1/1 on the ground. Still seems pretty good. Alright. Really juicing up that aerialist. I don't mind getting rid of it unless they have the hexproof trick here. Poking in the sky. Sure. Okay. Already played land for turn. So I'll have exactly enough to play both of these together next turn, and then the Costume Closet gets to start modifying my creatures for free. I don't have to spend anything to equip. They got a second creature to have the aerialist on blocks. They do not. They have a removal spell that hopefully doesn't mill a 4-power creature. It mills 0 creatures. They had a 2-power creature in grave already, though. So they do kill a flyer. But they don't kill our card draw engine, which is the most important piece of the puzzle. Okay, this is going to be beautiful. Big damage here. Draw 1. There's that unblockable double striker to give +2/+2 and everything too. Exciting. So +2/+2 to one of their creatures this turn, but I'm at 17, so we don't really care. The final ability returns a creature from grave to hand, but their only creature in grave is 2/1. It will still trigger and give them a counter, so it'll still do something here, but not particularly scary. Okay. They're at 8. They have a reach creature and a flyer now. This is 3 mana. I have 8 mana total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2 mana. This is a 3 mana equip, so I can't do everything. Oh no, I can do everything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have exactly enough to do everything. 5 power toughness. Allow a 1-for-1 trade there. And then this just can't die, period. Looks good. Get the counters back on the closet. We'll get a counter back on the closet. And draw a card. Counterspell. Okay, we're in way too much of a commanding lead to not just hold up the counterspell. Sorry, unblockable. card, but this just guarantees the win through a rainy day, some kind of crazy bomb mythic or something. And 9 power in the sky here. They're trying to get to 12. All right, let's just, call it here and make sure we win. Boom. Just stop them in their tracks. Get it over with. All right, that is 2-0. Head into game 3. My brain is so dead. My brain is so dead. We are 1-0 into game 2. Okay, here we are now on the actual game 2. It is late night. We're playing against the same Japanese player. The Eastern Hemisphere servers are waking up. The Americans are going to bed. So we get a best 2 out of 3. If we win this, then we win the best 2 of 3. And we get to move on to a new opponent. Okay. This is a very solid start for them on the play. They also got a splash color here that they didn't have access to last game, which could be pretty big. This is a pretty reasonable opening hand for us. I shouldn't have played my land until post-combat in case they did block there. I could snatch back, kill the token, and kill both cards, and then play a tap land. They didn't block those, so the play remains the same. If I had waited for main phase 2 to play the land. Alright, so they're going to get some good web slinging value here, I can tell you that much. They are not. They need to draw some more creatures first. So, no 1/1 human off the ability here. I don't have the second blue to draw the card off our bounce spell, so just play our valet. Get the tap land out of the way and have 5 up next turn for these two. Alright, we do know they drew a web slinger now, so they're going to go pretty ham. Ooh, they had a mana ramp web slinger that they top decked as well, because again, otherwise they would have played that last turn. So that would have been the top deck for this turn. Not a great card to bounce either. I don't mind jumping the aerialist into the sky and just pressuring them here. Yeah, tons of flying damage. Do keep in mind though, Robotic Mastery does not natively give flying, it's because of the aerialist's ability. So don't misplay that at pre-release. It does not give flying, but it does give you flying robots. There goes Aerialist. But it taxes all of their mana for the turn, so they're not expanding their board. So that ward is still popping off for us. We get to start drawing cards off of Kumanosu, the Watchful. I don't feel the need to triple block here. I mean, I would if they weren't tapped out to stop them from getting the card draw value. But if they're not, then we're vibing. I guess it's not really value to web sling this when they don't have like the mana to recast it particularly easily. This is how you beat the legend rule. Make sure your opponent casts Oblivion Ring. They got a 1 green mana web slinging here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 power, 6 power if that sticks around. It's not going to be lethal anyway. So we'll kill them on 1. Unblockable's kind of a big deal. 1 mana from playing both of those. It's a shame. I think I have to just play this and have the bounce up. Just seems way better. I get to draw 2 here, or draw 1 and make them chump. Either is a pretty fantastic deal. Draw 2. Get their treasure token from their pictures of Spider Man. Move to combat. 4/3 coming in is a bit of a concern at 6, but if they try to combat trick me to death, I have the bounce. If they have that plus hexproof trick, they do got me here. If they've got the double combat trick, they do not. There's the concession from our opponent, and now we are 2-0. I was actually just time traveling earlier. That was me from the future after having played the opponent the second time. I got them mixed up because I remembered playing them twice. So I was from the future there. We're 2-0 now, heading into game number 3. Here we are, game 3. This is a excellent start. That's a really fun one. Maybe the Spider Man suit, whatever this thing's called in universe, is actually, it's a secret gold card. It fits in exactly the blue-white deck, but maybe it's actually just great in this deck. Because it looks awesome on the double striker, but it also just looks awesome on aerialist. It curves into it. You play it on 1, play that on 2, and then equip it on 3. It's kind of perfect. These draws are not if I don't hit lands. They'll be really good if I do, though. Alright, they got Spider Pig here, so all of their stuff gets +1/+1. A bajillion different creature types. But mainly all like the spiders and birds in this set. There's a lot of spiders, and City Pigeon is a very good card. That happens to be a bird. That's super cheap web slinging, terrifying. We hit the land here, which is perfect. Snatch that right back and draw the card. And that's the 5th land. That is a big one for this hand. Man, the tempo you can get out of a bounce spell against web slinging decks is pretty gnarly. I mean, they only bounced a 1-drop, so it's not the craziest thing in the world, but just preventing that thing from sticking around for the turn was huge. They have to redo the web slinging all over again. Pick up the pig this time. Alright, instead they are going to expand the board. Okay, this is almost definitely getting locked. It's already modified though, so I'm going to put the counter onto the Vigilance creature. This is going to be a close game in terms of life total. They don't have enough lands to freely be eating food all over the place. So, I mean, we're both going to be at like 6 life very soon. Feels like a game that's going to be anyone's game. Somebody's going to be a turn from dying and then win the game. They do chump to prevent the card draw there. Kill Kumonosu. Big reach blocker is the play. That's a draw. I think Robotics Mastery is better. It's more mana efficient. I can play it and the saddle. And the 1/1 flyers are big too. Yeah. I think that game was closer than it looked. Obviously, we ended up with a really good board there, but they were capable of doing some pretty scary stuff with these cards, with the right support for them. Luckily, they just did not have, like a nice little exile spell or something there. All right, that is 3-0 for the blue-white modified deck. An incredibly late pivot onto it as well, where even in deck building, I think we might have just had a better blue-black deck. But we got basically every blue-white card in the draft pod because nobody else took any of them. They're all in the other color pairs. So just all the premium multicolored stuff can really make a great deck. Super, super impressed by the robotics engineering, I have to say. And the blue-white modified draw card, uncommon. Those have both been very good in all these games. All right, here we are for game 4, our final boss with 2 rounds in the chamber. We are on the draw against Kyle Rose, one of the best drafters of all time. So when you want to talk about a final boss, that is a final battle right there. All I'll say, it's a good thing that we have 2 rounds at this. Although our start is reasonable against City Pigeon. The Phantasmal Vision here to keep it from doing any web slinging. Ooh, we might actually get to try to do the unblockable double strike stuff with the bargain spinner grabbing the they're just gonna web sling that back, so might as well stop the damage. Oh, they're not going to. Cool. Anyways, this can pick up the +2/+2 and put it on the unblockable card, which could be nice. But I imagine it's probably going to get removed. No removal cast yet. Do these put counters on the board if they leave for any reason? Yeah, these are nice with web slinging. When you put them back in your hand, you get counters. Cool stuff. That is just a 3/3, no spiders on the board. Cool. Bounce spell is not very good against an entire board of stuff that triggers when it leaves the battlefield. Get our pokes here. I guess I could use this on the vehicle, that wouldn't be horrific. But I'd rather get this thing down. Yeah, kill the double striker, fair. I might actually get the 5 mana aura over the +2/+2 now then. I guess they're both +2/+2, but the aura coming with multiple flyers is pretty fantastic. Aura is worse against more removal from our opponent than an equipment is. There's an aerialist. Send in the squad. And they've got a spider now as well for that spider coach. Down to 10. This is actually looking pretty bad. That's a good draw. I think that is just better than mastery on this board. Have a 2/4 on blocks. with the vigilance. Destroy an attacker or blocker would be filthy. Ah, destroy the modified card? That's actually even worse. Good stuff. No cards in hand, at least, from opponent now. We're taking big damage here. Oh my god, the top deck is a flying rare. That's also a spider to buff. Is that literally like a lethal draw? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? Basically. It's a draw that forces me to chump. Well, we got top decked out of this hard. They just had to like hit a land there for us to have a chance to stabilize. God, that's insane. 3 blocks. Spider Coach just gets us. Yeah, I mean, maybe we had a shot bouncing the coach earlier. That stacked up into so much damage so quickly. Alright. Brutal top deck. That'll be 3-1 heading into Game 5. This will be the final battle. Win or lose the last game of Magic for the draft. Alright, well this hand is not keepable. 2 equipment and an ore with no creatures. So our final game of Magic, we are gonna have to take a mulligan here. Not much better. But I think most of that is because it's only a 6-card hand. Like, if I could afford to keep the bounce spell here and still have the curve, like if that were a 7-card opener, it'd be pretty good, but having to lose one of those cards means whatever I keep, it's gonna be a little awkward in some way. I really couldn't ditch a land there. Maybe it's better to ditch the 5-drop, keep the bounce, valet, and bargain spinner. But I really like curving out here. Playing against Rakdos, the Mayhem strategy that lets them play cards the turn they discard them. There's some mana ramp from Leyline Weaver and potential fixing. Worth mentioning, unfortunately, we're on the draw again. Does put us at a disadvantage here. Like, for instance, that last game, if we were on the play instead of the draw, that plays out a lot differently in terms of the tempo. But that's just how Magic works. Well, that is terrifying. So they can just keep their red mana forever. So if they're not spending all of their mana, they get to keep leftover red mana. I guess they... steps and phases end. Do they still lose mana when turns end? Maybe? I don't know, that's interesting. Okay. We can't attack here because the reach. Kind of like Lost in Lit Yara into 2 Kumonosu. Might be a little too slow for the tempo of things. I mean, I could also just play double bounce. And that helps make up for playing a slow turn here to set this up. We've got all 5 of the mana we need. I don't mind top decking the Costume Closet because then I really do have the option of double bounce because I can double bounce plus play Costume Closet, use all 5 of my mana for good. Okay, it does let them keep mana between turns. That is horrendously good then. We can burn all their mana by bouncing that at some point. It's really nice with Leyline Weaver as well, that untaps itself, retaps for the red. Yep, paste out the Menacer. Yeesh. Well, this is what they call not good. This is in fact very bad. And again, it's another game, I think, being on the draw has cost us so much life and tempo. Yeah, this is real bad. I don't even know what two I get to bounce here, honestly. Like I can do the Menacer and the Bio, and then they can still recast it and haste it. Or I could do the Weaver and the Menacer, and then they can tap that for red that doesn't end, and they can still recast and haste it. No matter what I do, they get us with that thing here. Do I do that in the hasting card? Maybe I do that in the hasting card here. Oh, I could bounce. If I were in a game where I was under much less life total pressure than this, then yes, I could bounce the Saga and work on that for the future, and that could be pretty cool. They have a Shock as their last... Wow. That's so good. The efficiency of that with the Leyline Weaver that untapped itself for the 5-drop, and then it just pays for itself from Bio's ability. Their deck is popping off on us here. Yep, just play that in the Taxi Driver again. We are not going to get to draw any cards here. Well, maybe. Play the Saddle and Equip. That cannot be better than playing this Costume Closet and forcing a trade with the 5/4. I'm probably just dead next turn. 9 life here. They have a 5/4 menace and a 2/3 flyer minimum. Okay, we actually get the trade into the Menacer. Okay, I will take that. I will absolutely take that. Cheap removal is great, especially with the Mayhem ability, so they turned this into just straight up draw 2, plus make that cheaper. Make that a 1/1 with no abilities now. Just something. It's probably what I have to do at 7 here. Actually, probably should have put that on the token. It's a 1/1 trade for either. Instead of just like taking the trade for the 3/1. Uh-oh, combat trick? Okay, no combat trick. So no haste. Oh, I actually didn't realize it gives it defender as well. It's a little better than I give it credit for. I trade here, they draw a card and get a counter on this now. They just double rared us out of nowhere. Well, we're pretty dead. We are pretty dead. 8 trample power in that one turn. 3 toughness doesn't really matter. I guess just beefiest blocker I can. I don't even have the mana to play this. Just gonna put as much toughness as I can on board, but I think I'm already done on board. I can get that to 5 toughness, so it blocks a 4/3. Soak up all that damage. Get trampled over for 1. Take 2 more. I take 3, go to 2, and lose most of my board. Pretty much already lost. Oh, I didn't even... Wow. Okay, this is better than Tormenting Voice. This is the first version of this they printed in a long time that it's not as an additional cost to cast this spell. Discard a card. You can cast this with no cards in hand. And that's pretty sick. Pretty sick. Go to 1 or soak up that damage and actually have to trade into the Fanatic instead of eating it for free. If I trade into the Fanatic, they draw a card off this. Because 3 is the greatest power. Alright, at this point I'll just go to 1. No, not the pinger. They play 1 4-mana value spell and I'm dead. I'm dead. I need 8 toughness and 2 other blockers. 5. I have to double block the other 4. Guess I can put the counter. Oh my god. I'm gonna put the counter on a 3/3 to make it a 4/4, so these 2 single-handedly stop the 2 tramplers. Then chump the other 2. No, but one of those has trample too, so I'd have to double block. I can't attack with anybody no matter where I put this counter. Well, shucks. Don't play a 4-mana value spell. Or greater. Don't play a 4-mana value or greater spell. Oh, right, they already have lethal because that just puts more counters on itself. Cool. It's exact C's. Alright, you got me. But we got curved out and wombo bomboed here with the triple rare. Sad day. 3-0 into 3-2. As always, an undefeated streak into getting all your losses at the same time is always the worst feeling, but we were on the draw both games against great curve outs, and that's just a big part of Magic. Even decks with just solid commons and uncommons can just curve out kill you if they're on the play, and those were not decks with just commons and uncommons. That was a triple rare end game there. The first game was more commons and uncommons, but did end with a rare as well. Flying Spider Man making the trampler even bigger. Yeah, it is what it is. Still, more wins than losses here. This was a very fun, very solid deck, honestly. I think this could have gone the full distance, just a little bit dragging it away from the 4-win run here, just being on the draw there. Some great curve outs from opponents. I still think it was probably a better deck if we went blue-black with just all of this incredible removal, some great value plays, and, you know, an excellent, huge lifelinking finisher. But it was very fun to play completely cards that we haven't played with yet, right? We already played Lewis in I think, multiple decks before. And all the good black removal spells. We've played a decent chunk of black, but hadn't played any blue yet, hadn't played any white deck. So get that all out of our system here in this draft for a really fun one with blue-white modified. Big overperformer card I highly recommend with how it played was Robotics Mastery for sure. Thought that was just going to be decent, but it actually played really, really nicely in this deck. The saddle as well, I've been consistently seeing this going late in all of the drafts, and I think it looks very mundane, very mediocre for the vast majority of decks, but just the way that it lines up with the mana curve, it can be reasonable in these modified decks. Again, not incredible, but reasonable because, you know, turn 1 saddle, turn 2 aerialist, turn 3 equip is kind of wild. That's a really fun curve out we got to do one time. It's also really good with the double striking unblockable card, so that's fun. It's decent on flyers like this. It lets you equip something early, and then Kumanosu gets to draw you cards off of your equipped creature, and you get to put that +1/+1 counter elsewhere. We found lots of little synergies for that, so that was pretty nice. Yeah, good stuff all around. Really fun deck today, even if it doesn't go quite the full distance. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more unrecommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. But other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.